Hi everyone, it's Rube the King's Roost, and today I'm going to explain the difference between whole wheat flour and refined white flour. Do you buy whole wheat flour to be healthier? Well, did you know that wheat is a perishable food, and sitting in a paper bag at room temperature means it's almost certainly spoiled by the time it gets to you? We all know we need to eat more whole grains. We also know that whole wheat flour is different from white flour. But have you ever stopped to think exactly what those differences are? I'm going to explain those differences so you can understand why I don't like either of those options and I'm such a big fan of making my own. First of all, flour comes from seeds like these. These are wheat berries. Wheat berries, just like an egg, hold everything needed for a living organism. This seed is alive and if kept cold will stay fresh and viable for hundreds if not thousands of years. A wheat berry is not that different from an egg. An egg has a shell, a white, and a yolk. Similarly, a wheat berry has bran, endosperm, and a germ. The bran has minerals, enzymes, and is mainly healthy fiber. The germ, where the little sprout starts from, is where the good fats are and is jam-packed with nutrients. It's usually only about 1 to 2% of the seed. The endosperm, the remaining 80% of the seed, is the fuel tank for the growing sprout. It holds the carbohydrates and the proteins that for our purposes become the gluten that makes bread bread. So how is refined white flour made? How is it different from whole wheat flour? Well, long ago bakers realized that bran interfered with the rising of bread, and if they could get that bran out by sifting it, they could make lighter and fluffier bread. Flour manufacturers also realized that flour would spoil soon after it left the mill. The healthy, sweet-tasting oils, once exposed to oxygen, would quickly go rancid on the shelf. So millers figured out if they could take the wheat germ out, the flour would last longer on shelves and it would taste less spoiled. For these reasons, mills were looking for a way to get all of the wheat germ and the wheat bran out of their flour. In the 1880s, mills got a new, modern technological advancement: the roller mill. The roller mill allowed mills to completely extract all of the bran and all of the germ from the flour they were making. Unfortunately, they didn't realize that by taking the germ and the bran out, they were taking out just about everything that made a wheat berry healthy. And that is what led to enrichment. Have you ever wondered why flour is always enriched? Soon after the roller mill was invented, between 1906 and 1941, we had an epidemic of a disease called pellagra. 3 million people in the United States got pellagra, and of those, 100,000 of them actually died. Doctors eventually realized that pellagra was actually a deficiency of vitamin B3, or niacin. They also figured out that we could cure pellagra by putting niacin in the nation's flour supply. And voila, modern technology solves the problem caused by modern technology. The amount of niacin we put in flour is not that different from the amount we took out when we removed the germ. The modern flour manufacturing process takes out the vast majority of vitamins and minerals in a wheat berry. Enrichment only adds back a handful of the vitamins just to keep us from getting sick. And to make flour more visually appealing and more consistent in baking recipes, it's bleached and chemically aged, which happens to reduce its nutritional content even further. So I've come to think of white flour from the store as a dead, stripped down, chemically engineered extract of wheat, better suited for industrial food manufacturing processes than healthy home baking. When you buy flour in a store, you have basically two options: white flour, which comes in all-purpose bread or pastry, or whole wheat flour that is in some stage of spoilage. On the other hand, don't you think it makes sense to take a living seed like this and make your own fresh flour? You wouldn't buy guacamole in a paper bag. An avocado starts to go bad as soon as you cut into it. It's so much better fresh. Same with whole flour. These are living seeds, and you could even sprout them or plant them if you wanted to. And it's a wonderful feeling being able to get a bag of whole grains from your local farmer, completely bypassing the massive and fragile industrial food distribution system. Plus, there are countless varieties of wheat out there. I mean, if you think about it, how many different kinds of grape? Or how many varieties of apple or types of tomato can you name? But what about wheat? There's hard white, Sonora, red Fife, hard red spring wheat, Durham, spelt, Coruscant, just to name a few of the more common ones you might find in a health food store. Home milling opens up a world of possibilities. Imagine enjoying your next cookie or baking your next pie, or even your sourdough bread, knowing that it brings the unique flavors of the region where it was grown. I hope these ideas inspire you to want to make your own flour. Even if you don't have a mill, you might have everything you need to make your own flour. Check out this video here where I show you how. If you're making your own flour, that makes me super happy. And I'm developing a video series on sourdough starters to help you along on your whole grain journey. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video enough to hit the little subscribe button below. And if you want to know when my next video comes out, hit the little bell. See you next time.